your community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors Connection. Now, here's Eric Fox and Ryan Holt.
Well, they can say we're consistent in our inconsistency here with Condors Connection. What up, it's Eric Fox. Yeah, it's Tuesday morning, 9:30, but you know what? It's time to talk hockey. My name is Eric Fox from Energy 95.3. Ryan Holt on the other side of the screen from the Bakersfield Condors. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm good. Yeah, we'd like to keep it interesting. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, you never know.
Heck, one of these days we'll just show up on a Sunday at 3 a.m. and just see what happens. I don't know. Anyways, let's do as we always do. We talk hockey here in all things Condors Town. A very busy time going on right now. But first, let's talk about the parent organization and a very hard playoff race right now. Seattle winning 4 has kind of knocked the Oilers down into a wild card slot, but the playoff race is only just starting to heat up. What's going on out there?
Yeah, I think the 8 teams I think are set. I don't see anybody kind of jumping in. I say that, and then you'll probably record this, and 3 weeks later somebody will jump in. But I don't envision anybody changing out west.
You saying the Ducks aren't just going to jump up there right now?
No, just a matter of the order, I think, right now. And the second division winner, who's likely going to be the Pacific, is going to have to play the 4th best team out of the Pacific, and that could be the Oilers or the Kraken. And I mean, I think that's a coin flip either way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if you're have the betting odds, I think the Oilers are still number 2 behind Colorado. And that's even with teams like Dallas and Winnipeg that have been up there at times. So I think the market's kind of viewing the Oilers as a team who's had its up and downs, but when they're up, it's as good as anybody. So it's going to be an interesting final couple weeks of the year. Oilers had a big win last night in Buffalo. They got a tough road trip here. They go to Boston on Thursday, and then Toronto as well too on this trip. So should be interesting to see how they finish up. But Thursday night is a big one with the Bruins, just to continue that climb.
Looking at the Pacific, the 3 teams above them are on fire right now. Vegas, LA, and Seattle all putting up some pretty big wins right now. What does Edmonton need to do to get up there?
Yeah, Evander Kane's going to be back here sooner rather than later. That's a big help up front. I like the addition of Ekholm. Stuart Skinner played well last night. I'd imagine, he probably gets the bulk of the workload here down the stretch as he's kind of established himself as, an NHL number 1. So, it's a difficult game on Thursday. Obviously, Boston hasn't really lost to anybody this year. So we'll see what the Oilers can do on Thursday with a rested Bruins team. But I think I'm not too high on the Kings. Vegas and their goaltending situation is interesting, and then Seattle's been streaky too. So I think Edmonton's still the team coming out of the Pacific.
Let's go and jump down to the AHL because obviously a playoff front is also happening down here. Since we last talked, split in the schedule. Obviously, it's nice to have a long homestand. Coachella, a very hard team to play against right now. Did a drop to them, but a very close game with Ontario as well. What were we seeing the last 2 games?
Yeah, I think, when you look at the, going back to last week, the final 20 games of the year, you had 5 with Coachella still remaining on the schedule. You had Ontario. You have 2 with Texas and Abbotsford. So that's 9 games of teams that are, above you in the standings, Colorado being the 10th. So half the games against teams above you in the standings, and then 10 games against teams below you in the standings. So, to make ground, you're going to have to beat teams that are above you. And the Condors beat Ontario on Saturday in overtime. But, it solidifies, those are the games where, you're banking points at that point because teams like Coachella Valley, Calgary, Colorado, they've feasted on the teams that are below them all year long. So, if you're Bakersfield, you got 2 points last night. You gained a point on Ontario on the weekend. It's a successful weekend. You gained 2 points, I think, on San Jose. Henderson's starting to play well, so that'll be interesting to see them next week. But anytime you beat teams that are above you, you're banking points against the teams that are below you because those teams aren't winning.
Let's talk about that. The next 4 games are against 2 different teams and 2 different sides of the coin. San Jose has been struggling all year. Texas has been doing pretty dang good. You got 2 games versus Texas, 2 games versus San Jose. What do they need to do during that little stretch there?
Yeah, Texas, again, if you can bank points against them, it doesn't really matter if you get it in overtime because they're in a different division. It's just a matter of banking points. And we played them tough in Texas and, have an opportunity here to start this week off tomorrow night. They're a different style team than San Jose, certainly. Condors match up well against San Jose, just in terms of styles and things like that. But San Jose is a desperate team. They're trying to get in. They're trying to scratch and claw their way in. Do I think they get there? No. But they do have some runway here. They do have some games to make up with some teams. And, they have an opportunity, coming in this weekend. They're going to see the Condors 4 times over the next 3 weeks. That's 8 points, out there to gain and 8 points for the Condors not to get. So
how important is it to play all 4 of those games at home too?
Yeah, well, and it's you look at San Jose and it's like, if you're looking at it from their perspective, they're thinking we're right in this. We're 6 points back, but we have 8 points, to possibly gain on this team. Now that means you have to beat us 4 times in regulation, which will be a tall task. But that kind of nugget is always out there, especially in our division at the end of the year. It's always like, well, we have opportunities against these teams. If we can just go on a run here down the stretch, we're going to get there. It's different than the NHL where you don't play the teams all the time. You might get a game or 2 down the stretch against a team you need to catch. But San Jose is looking at it like, hey, we have an opportunity this weekend. Do I think it happens? No, I don't. But, it's out there.
When we get into the last part of the season, because obviously the game of hockey is very hard on the body, how important is avoiding injuries and keeping strong as you finish out the season?
Well, it's big, and it's also big because, you look at teams like Coachella Valley and Calgary, there's only 1 bye in the Pacific. So if you're Calgary and Coachella Valley, you can't really rest anybody down the stretch because you're trying to get that bye. You want that week off going into a second round series and not have to play that best of 3 first round. For the teams that are scratching and clawing trying to get in, I mean, it's all hands on deck here down the stretch. You're trying to find ways to get in. Usually that last week of the year, your seating might be kind of determined. So you're able to kind of, maybe rest some guys or tinker with some things. But we've got, Brad Malone's been out for the last couple of weeks. Jason Demers been out for the last couple of weeks. Those are 2 big veterans for us. If we can get them back by the end of March and get them back up to speed, going into the playoffs, that's big.
Well, it's definitely going to be a fun playoff race. And once again, I'm glad the next 4 games are at home. Speaking of being at home, we got to get out there and root on the Condors. What do people need to do to head out to the game?
Yeah, Wednesday at 6:30, and then Friday and Saturday against San Jose. Friday night's a $2 beer night. Saturday night's New Jersey giveaway. So a lot of fun stuff. And then next week we've got a Wednesday game against Texas, and then St. Patty's Day game to wrap up this 7-game homestand next Friday. So a lot of exciting promotions. We've got green jerseys next week. It's going to be fun, and a lot of cool things happen in the next couple of games. So a great way to finish out the homestand and continue this this momentum and this build up to what's coming up here in April, because it's going to be a fun sprint to the finish.
And of course, to get tickets, you go where?
BakersfieldCondors.com. We've got some great deals. We've got a hat trick pack that gets you 4 tickets and a hat for $99, and some other great deals on there as well too. If you want to sign on for a membership, we'll give you some games here at the end of the year for free.
Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Eric Fox from Energy 95.3. Every week at some point, we connect up, get caught up.
Maybe twice a week. You never know.
You never know what's going to happen next, but we'll figure it out. Once again, this has been another edition of your weekly Energy Condors Connection. Ryan Holt, thank you so much once again, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
We'll catch you next time with Energy 95.3.